20 years I'm teaching this subject. I'm
and
trying...
Still? Today also?
Well, I'm trying now to convince after the revolution, because I am very, very angry with the system in Egypt, especially the educational system, and I need young people to have some creative abilities. But they do not allow me to teach in Egypt. I am not allowed to teach in Egypt. And I met the highest authorities, and I told them, we must have a department or a section in Cairo University to teach creativity and dissidence and revolution. He said, no, you cannot have that.
So you have been in prison, you have been in exile, you have been a teacher, and now you are again an activist. You were in the square of Tahrir, and when you stood there, together with all people, what did you think then? What was your dreams and visions when you stood there?
Well, I think the experience of the revolution is great. It's like the experience of prison also, you know, because it's very rare. Revolution happens very rare. Such a revolution. And in Egypt, it was remarkable. 20 million people in Tahrir Square against Mubarak, having one voice, living. There were tents. Tents, you call tents? Khiyam? Yes. Living day and night. Day and night in January. It's cold. But we never felt the cold. I was sitting on the ground. Young people were putting jackets underneath me. I was the oldest one in the revolution. Nobody older than me. So they were helping me. So the young people putting their jackets underneath, and I remember even a young man from the revolution, he sat behind my back with his back to my back to support my back, as if he is the chair, you know. So I was sitting like that with the back of the man behind me. So we had a wonderful life, cooperation. They were my family. Because I was writing against the biological family all the time, against marriage, against patriarchy, the patriarchal family. But I never understood the human family, the non-biological family, except in the revolution. So under the tent, I felt that this man is my son. He's the age of my son. And he's giving me his back as a chair, you know, and we were living together. And there were young women and young men who never know each other. And they were sleeping under the same tent. Nobody touched a girl. And even when you wake up at night, then a girl may be, you know, maybe naked a little bit, so he covers her. No harassment, not a single harassment among those millions. Not a single conflict between a Christian and Muslim. Under the tent I was living, there were Muslims, Christians, young women, young men, older people, 40, 50, 60, you know. And we were living together as if we are one family. So this was amazing. So I felt that I didn't want to go back home, you know. And then I divorced my third husband.
What kind of expectations did you have when you were there in the tent with all these people? What did you think of the future?
Well, we had big dreams.
Yeah.
Dreams. We were dreaming. In fact, I was dreaming of this revolution since I was 10 years of age. With my grandmother, she was revolting in the village against the British and the king. So it was part of our development. So I lived this dream. I was dreaming of the revolution. So when I was in Tahrir Square, I felt I lived that before. I dreamt of that before. It was not news to me. And we had great expectations that Mubarak will live, will change the world, will change the system. You know, the imagination, no limit in the revolution, no limit to the imagination and to the hopes. Of course, many of this, we realized we won because Mubarak left. So we were able to remove the head of the state, the regime, the head, but the body of the regime is still there, up till today. The counter-revolution, the body of the regime is still there. The military, the government, the media. I cannot speak on the media of Egypt now. I can speak on the TV in Stockholm, but not in the TV or in Cairo, the government one. So our hopes were great, but then the disappointments were great too. But this is natural in any revolution. It's a process. You have 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. 2 steps forward, but the net result, progress. So we are winning, and we are going to win.
It's so interesting to listen to you because you are so hopeful, you are so positive. Though the results, because if you look at women before the revolution and after, there are some backlashes, aren't there? You told me some suggestions coming up.
Yeah, women died in the revolution exactly like men. And in all revolutions, women in Algeria, in Tunisia, in any country, women are up in the revolution, and they die, and they are beaten in prisons. But then, after the revolution, there's backlash against women because of patriarchy. And that happened in Egypt. In addition to that the people who took power, Mubarak, when he left, he appointed the High Council of the military to replace him. And this was a mistake. We should not have accepted that. But we were so happy that Mubarak left that we were not aware of that. Mubarak brought the High Military Council to rule the country. And in fact, the Military Council ruled the country in a very bad way. They aborted the revolution with the help of the other institutions in Egypt that were very much linked to Mubarak. Economic, social, education. All people at the top in Egypt were pro-Mubarak. The businessmen, the capitalists, those who have interest in US companies and all that. And US also, the United States, because we were colonized. Since that, Egypt became an American colony, economically and mentally and everything. We lost our independence, even our dignity. 50% of the people in Egypt, they live under the poverty line because of Sadat policy. So, what happened that what was the question? I forgot.